Hello and welcome to the Three Quarter Slot Podcast. I am your host, Sean Kernahan, here to talk about another week that is the baseball prospect world. We have gotten through the preseason tournaments for the most part when it comes to college baseball. The WBC is coming up next, starting as I record here on Wednesday morning, starting tonight. So by the time you listen to this, there will be at least two games that have taken place with. It looks like Chinese Taipei versus Australia, and then Czechia versus Korea will be both be taking place before this podcast is published. So big week. When kind of prepping this week, I did kind of have a realization that there are 9 different mini segments that I do each week. So we're going to go ahead and call them 9 innings. Going from the first pitch, which is kind of the week that was, a little bit of a preview, into the amateur recap, amateur preview, pro recap, pro preview, then some updates on the high school board, the college board, the pro board, and then we'll finish out with the closer, with just kind of some things around three-quarter slot. But let's just take a step back and take a look right now. It's the World Baseball Classic week. Lots of excitement. I was actually lucky enough to be at the original World Baseball Classic, that semifinal between USA and Japan. Back then, as just a fan checking that in. I will tell you, if you have a chance to get out to a World Baseball Classic game, do it. It's an awesome atmosphere. Previewing it a little bit, there's going to be a lot of people tuned into the USA, Dominican Republic, those teams, because they've got their favorite players on it. But here at three-quarter slot, we're obviously focusing in on the prospects. We've got high school players with you got Joseph Contreras from Blessed Trinity in Georgia. He plays for Team Brazil. You've got let's see here, Max Prejda from Inspiration Academies on Czechia. We got some JUCO players on Czechia. We've got a few Division One baseball players out there with Matus Bubanik from UNC Wilmington. It was Czechia. We've got let's see here, Tomas Lopez from Colombia is on Brazil. And then with the Netherlands, you got Justin Morales from Bethune-Cookman. Czechia also has, let's see here, Jan Pospisil. I'm butchering that from North Greenville, D2 school, I do believe. So lots of prospects. In addition to some pro prospects already out there, and some prospects from overseas. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Um, and then so it's going to be really interesting to see what comes of the what would to see some of these kids. Guys like Joseph Contreras, a really good high school pitcher. There's a chance, he throws against, and as we're recording, only the USA has announced their rotations. But there's a chance that we see Joseph Contreras against a team like the USA, against top level MLB bats. To see a high school kid out there against that is going to be fascinating for evaluation purposes. It would only likely be for an inning or so, so there's not a ton you can draw from that. But really curious to see how some of that comes together. Going into the second, though, here we go. I'll take a look at the amateur recap. The game that I previewed last week is the UCLA Tennessee game over in Globe Life. It was second week in a row. I did not pick the most competitive game, as UCLA really separated from Tennessee in the fifth inning. But Logan Reddeman against Tegan Kuhns was a fun pitching battle. Despite the runs that were given up, they both really showed well. Reddeman showed a really good four-pitch mix. He worked 94 to 96. He had a late falling changeup sitting 83, 84. Slider and a cutter, two distinct shapes on those. He comes from a higher slot. Controlled delivery, good pitchability. He ended up finishing with 5 1/3, giving up 4 hits, 3 runs, and striking out 7. He's absolutely a starter moving forward when you're looking at the pro prospect aspect of it. And something that UCLA was missing a year ago was kind of that ace. Looks like Reddeman might be able to really fill that role. Tegan Kuhns, he from the pure stats, he didn't have the greatest of games, but he did give up. He gave up 6 runs, 4 of them earned, but he struck out 10 in his 6 innings. His fastball was up to 98. It had some late life. Even a four seamer had some late life to it. He had a good 85, 86 changeup, a two plane slider, curvy pitch there at 79. He's got a big leg kick. There's definitely some effort in that delivery. I'm not sold on him as a starter long term. I think there's some risk with that delivery, with his command and whatnot. I think there's some real reliever risk, but the stuff you can't deny it. Again, 10 strikeouts in 6 innings against a really good UCLA lineup, and that fastball up to 98. It's some really good stuff. And Arvidsson came in for you to relieve Tegan Kuhns. He really struggled, missing with his arm side command consistently. So that's something to keep an eye out there. Muluvi Levu, Roman Martin, both homered. Will Gasparino, get to him even deeper later. He hit 2 bombs, and this was the start of the Chris Newstrom breakout for Tennessee offensively. Ended up having a really good weekend, and it started against UCLA. Overall, UCLA ended up sweeping the series, the tournament there in Globe Life, showing why they're the number one team in the nation. Absolutely impressive looking team, and it goes well beyond the Rock Chalowski at their likely number one candidate come July. We talked about Levu, Martin. I said I'm going to get some deeper dive into Will Gasparino a little bit later. Just a really good lineup. They've got the number one starter in Reddeman. They've got some good bullpen pieces. Look out, UCLA is an absolute force. Then going on to the third, we're looking at the games to come to watch this weekend on the amateur side. Really tempted by Cal Baptist against BYU here Thursday night. The nice thing about BYU not playing on Sundays is that there's always a really good matchup that they have on Thursday nights. Their Friday night guys go Thursday night. Now, the issue there is sometimes the team they're opposing doesn't throw their Friday night guy on Thursday. They save him for Friday to keep him on a normal schedule. I have not seen confirmation as to whether or not Cal Baptist is going to throw Cody New on Thursday night. If he does, it's a likely Garrison Sumner against Cody New matchup, which should be a really fun pitching matchup. But that's not the full dive I'm going to do. The game we're going to go ahead and really dive deep into is going to be, and again we're going to review next week. Friday night's game: Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech. Conference play kicks off. We got Virginia Tech against Georgia Tech. Brett Renfrow against Tate McKee is the most likely starting matchup. Brett Renfrow has not had the best of starts so far this year. He got roughed up a little bit this last weekend. He's lost his first 2 starts. But overall, he is obviously, he's a really good pitcher. We'll see kind of what comes of him as far as the pro prospects. I've seen him up to 97, really sits in that 93, 94 range. Good leg bend, but it doesn't have a ton of drive. It's a fluid delivery, good high 3/4 slot. Slider in the mid 80s that plays above average, changeup, good mix. Just he has not had a great start to the season, but he does typically show good feel. I think he's a future back end of the rotation potential prospect in the Pro Bowl. So it'll be fun, interesting to see how he does in this matchup, especially against a Georgia Tech team that is absolutely stacked. Especially they've got one of the best top 4 lineups, top 4 slots in the lineup in the country. Leading off is Drew Burris, potentially the number 2 college bat off the board coming up this year. He is really he's unique. The bat is one of the best in the country. Maybe has a better hit tool than Rock Chalowski and similar in terms of raw power. But he is an undersized player who does play center field, plays a really good center field, and is one of the top prospects in college baseball. He would be a type of guy who be in consideration for 1-1 in a year that didn't include a Rock Chalowski. He did come out in number 2 in our college board that we released this last Monday, which we'll review later on in the show. Really, really good player there. And then you've got behind him, you have Alex Hernandez, Jared Invicula, Von Lackey. The top 4 guys in that lineup for Georgia Tech are all legit draft prospects facing Brett Renfrow. On the mound for Georgia Tech is going to be Tate McKee. He is, 92, 94. He's got good slider with some late 2-plate action. Really has a big arsenal. He needs some more velocity to really move into the earlier rounds of the draft, but likely a later round pick as we currently stand. And if there is a weakness to that Georgia Tech team that may prevent them from being a real Omaha team, it might be their front end rotation. So we'll see if McKee can continue on a solid start to the season and really shine here against Virginia Tech, who doesn't have a ton in terms of bats on for the 2026 class, but look out for Anderson French, a 2027 bat, and Ethan Ball, a true freshman, 2028 eligible in that lineup. Be fun to watch there. On to the 4th with the pro recap. We don't have one right now. This is the last week that we're not going to have a pro recap. I know, as I've mentioned last week, spring training has begun. It's just hard to really nail in those prospects ahead of time, just because we can't project those out. But we have WBC coming up, and so we will definitely have recaps. And with that, let's dive straight into the pro preview, and we're going to go WBC related. Again, like I mentioned, we don't have the pitching matchups announced outside of the USA for the pitching rotations. So Italy, Great Britain on Sunday is going to be a really, really interesting matchup. You guys like Harry Ford, Christian Robinson, BJ Murray, Gary Gill-Hill, Matt Kopernak with Great Britain. You got Nick Morabito, Dante Nori, Andrew Fisher, Sam Anataki, butchering his name, I apologize there, Sam. With Team Italy, that is the Sunday matchup. That's a really interesting one here in. Let's see, that game is going to be in Houston. It's just we don't know the pitching matchup there, so it's hard to really say that's the matchup to watch. Again, another game that one I am going to go ahead and do the full deep dive on next week, and mainly because this is one of the times that we get to see these international prospects from Asia, the Koreas and the Japans, that we get to see them on broadcast TV without having to do a real deep dive to try and find them. And so I'm going to go ahead and say one of the best rivalries in baseball is Korea versus Japan. They headline on Saturday. Let's see here. That timing is going to be 5 a.m. Eastern on Saturday morning. Spoiler alert, I will not be watching live, but I will absolutely be watching that when I finally do wake up on Saturday morning. Do Young Kim is the kind of the stud there for Korea to look out for as far as prospects. A guy that I've written up not too long ago here at 3/4 slot. He's been a KBO MVP. He's battled injuries of late. He's got big power, as high an upside bat as we've seen coming out of Korea. Fascinated to watch him in that matchup against Japan. Korea's got a number of guys though. Ju-Won Kim. You got let's see here, Hyung-Min An, Si-Hwan Ro, some really good prospects there that are currently in the KBO in a future posting year. So some youth players to keep an eye out there. And then for Japan, we know that the Shoheis are in the lineup and all of that. So it's a lineup that we're very familiar with from an American MLB aspect. But I hope to see Shota Morishita in that lineup. He is a really good defensive right fielder, solid arm. He's currently 25 years old. He'd be posted in the next couple of years. I didn't double check to see exactly what year, but he would be posting eligible not too far from here. He's got initially the concern was that there wasn't going to be a ton of power, but the 23 home runs last year. He's got really quick wrists at the plate. He can some sneaky pop in there. I think Shoto Morishita. Now, Japan is not going to be facing the most MLB arms. With their to start with, they've got Japan, Australia, Korea, Czechia, and Chinese Taipei in their pool. But we all expect Japan to get out of that pool and make it to the quarterfinal round. So we, could very well see them against the Dominican Republic or Venezuela in that knockout round, where there will be some MLB arms. But I'm looking really looking forward to seeing Do Young Kim and Shota Morishita for Korea and Japan, respective. So that's the preview. Now let's just take a look at the actual draft boards. Some news kind of going on in there. And I mentioned him earlier, Joseph Contreras, son of Jose Contreras, former big leaguer. He threw for his high school team this last week. He's now with Team Brazil. High chance that he could face the USA or even, in the pool, you've got Canada, plenty of big leaguers, Panama, Colombia, some quality bats there. Contreras is going to see maybe the best bats he'll see all year here this coming week. But this last week, he really showed well. He saw some uh, quality opponents from the high school level. As far as what his stuff is like, he's 92, 95 with sink and run. Uh, Actually, I think I've seen him recently up to 97. He's got a slider. He's got a traditional changeup. He's got a forkball that is absolutely filthy. It is He destroys spin on that. It's like in the 800s. It's a 74 to 75 mile an hour. Just absolute stupid drop. It's a forkball, not your traditional split finger, a true forkball that is almost knuckly at times in the shape that it has coming to the plate. It is a legit pitch. One of my favorite pitches in this draft class. And he had another good weekend. Uh, Another couple of kids who had a really good weekend. I'm going to do a duel for the bats on the high school board. Give a shout out to Juan Diaz and Frank Thomas III over at IMG Academy. Both are 2027s. They each hit 3 home runs in a game last week. I mean, the IMG pipeline is absolutely loaded, as it always is. Juan Diaz, he is a switch hitting shortstop. Let me grab it some more information for here. Just a moment. Switch hitting shortstop, 6'5" runner. The right-handed swing is a little bit more short direct, line drive type stuff. There's more power from the left side. It's got some real whip. It's a balance tool. I think he sticks on the dirt. I don't think it's necessarily a shortstop, maybe second or third, but a really good prospect there for 2027. Frank Thomas is, yes, Frank Thomas, Big Hurt's son. He goes by Frankie, but I mean, he's going to be about the size of his father. It's hard to you call him Frankie, but Frank Thomas III, uh, big frame, strong frame. Like I said, 3 home runs. He is an absolute stud. He's an excellent first base defender, as you might expect from Frank Thomas's son. Um, he is left, so he's a little bit different than his dad, but in that respect, but big power. Um, Really might be uh, one of the higher first base only prospects in the 2027 class. We don't typically look at first base is low down the defensive spectrum, but his defensive chops are really good. It is easy power to all fields. Just really good feel around the bag. The hit tool, it's got some work to do, but there's a ton of upside there with Frank Thomas. On to the college side of things here. Mason Edwards, USC, is there's no pitcher in the nation that is on his level right now. He has thrown, I believe, it is 18 consecutive hitless innings. He put up 7 hitless against Cal Poly over the weekend. 11 strikeouts. Just, I mean, his bat missing ability is clear. He's got a good pitch mix. He is attacking. He's absolutely been one of, if not the best pitcher the in college baseball to early this season. Um, he fastball only like to the mid 90s, kind of 94. Got a slider, a changeup, but he throws strikes. The he repeats well. He tunnels well. Keeps hitters off balance. Mason Edwards been just absolutely lights out. Like I said, I think it's 18 consecutive hitless innings. I think the last hit he gave up was the first inning of opening day. It's ridiculous as he continues to absolutely mow through lineups. The bat to focus on, I mentioned Gasparino earlier in this podcast about his 2 home runs against Tennessee in that Tegan Kuhns matchup at Globe Life. He hit 4 total home runs between the midweek and the weekend. He went 5 for 11 this last week. He is sitting at 10 home runs. Big knock on Will Gasparino coming into this year was the length in his swing, and it's still there. There's still the stride, the leg hang, the bat still has length to it, and there are holes in that swing. They I expect that to show up at some point this year. But that being said, right now he's got more home runs than he does strikeouts. So I mean, it's first 3 weeks of the season, the best arms he's going to see all year most likely until the tournament. He's already seen. He's got 10 home runs. He's got 8 strikeouts. He's absolutely mashing. He moves incredibly well out in center field. He's as long as you're going to want to see from a center fielder. He's super long, super tall, great reads, great movements, and he's absolutely mashing the ball right now. Just everything coming together for Will Gasparino. He fell a little bit in our top 200 for the College Board, but I'm telling you, if he continues to hit like this, he fell down to 82 on our board. If he continues to hit like this, he's going to be rocketing up boards. There's a ton of buzz around him right now. Will Gasparino, look out. From a pro perspective, arm wise, I want to give some love out to George Klassen. I was not big on him coming out of I believe it was Minnesota. He big fastball. He was triple digits coming out of college, but he just, coming out of Minnesota, he was triple digits, but he had, I mean, like 20 grade command. It was not good at all. He's really improved his command of late. His command has really been improving. I'm not going to say it's anywhere like league average or anything like that, but compared to where it was to where it is now, he has absolutely done a great job improving his command. The fastball is still big time. I'd say the command's still below average, and there's still, because of that, a ton of reliever risk. But it's not out of the question that Klassen could potentially be a guy who is in the rotation early in the season, if not the opening day rotation for the Angels. It's got that kind of stuff. Like I said, I don't know that the command will allow him to stay a starter long term at the big league level, but he's completely done everything the Angels have asked of him since they acquired him from Philadelphia, and he's absolutely just shoved. So I say roll him out there in the rotation, and let's see what he can do. Bat wise, let's go look at Kevin McGonigal. I mean, he's making a real case. I think, like, it was already a good likelihood that he was going to be on the big league roster on opening day. I mean, he's leading off in spring training a good amount. His offensive maturity is showing. He's showing good defense at shortstop, but there were some questions if he was going to stake it short long term. I think he's making it pretty difficult for the Tigers to do anything but have him skip AAA and come straight to the big leagues. He's just been that kind of, you know, he's just had that. He's been that good so far. I mean, he's got one of the best hit tools, if not the best hit tool in all the minor leagues. He's got some real juice in that bat. Uh, Again, there's some question: is it short? Is it third? Is it second? Who cares? The kid can hit. He can lead off for you. He can run a little bit. I think he's the leadoff hitter on opening day for the Detroit Tigers. Time to move on to the ninth and close this thing out. Talk about what's happened here at three-quarter slot. And I'm going to dive into, on last Monday, on this past Monday, the second, we dropped our college top 200 board. No surprise, Rock Chalowski stayed at number one. Actually, before I dive into that, it was myself, Sam, and Eric all combined to put this board together. We saw Cameron Flukie sitting at 4 right now. We did not. We finished our rankings about a week before this went live. So the 8-week injury news had not come out when we finalized our rankings here. Would he fall down a little bit, down past Jackson Flora, who came in at 9? Probably. But we'll see, what if Jackson Flora can continue doing what he's been doing so far and how long Cameron Flukie is out. Tyler Bell, he's still at 5. I know he's got, that's still that indefinite injury with that shoulder. Until we know exactly what the health is of that shoulder, I'm not going to knock him too much. If he can come back this year and show what he's capable of, he's a potential top 10 pick. But until the exact details of that shoulder injury come out, I'm not going to have that really knock him too much. Ryder Helfrich really climbed 2 spots behind Von Lackey as number 1 catcher, college catcher on the board. College left-handed pitching is not what we're used to seeing. The top left-handed pitcher on our board is Cole Carlone, coming in at 30th. We've got a few JUCO players that made the roster, the list. Holden Herring from Weatherford at 132. Hudson McClaretz from Blinn College at 145. I thought we had a third. We do. Where the heck did it go? McLennan, Carson Bailey at McLennan. They're in Texas. He is at 92. And then I made the executive decision to jump everyone and put Grayson Chappell in at number 200 for us. He's the D2 pitcher from Central Missouri. He has absolutely lit it up this year. Talked to a number of evaluators. This is a kid who is going to surprise some people. He's been a late developer there for Central Missouri, but he has been the Friday night lights out guy for them, and really a name to keep an eye out to remember. Grayson Chappell, Central Missouri. Really like what I've seen out of him. We also had today, as I'm recording, Jordan Terrell's first report here with three-quarter slot dropped with Kaivan Skoyak, right-handed pitcher there in California. So make sure you check that out. He was at the UC Irvine USC game last night. He's going to be writing up Tommy Farmer for next week. So looking forward to see what we get there. I know that Sam is looking forward to getting out to some of the Northeast minor league teams once that season gets going. Some of those big series they're going to be at Northeastern, Boston College, and whatnot. He'll be at those. Eric Dillinger here, he knows everything there is to know about Mountain West ball players, as he sees plenty of them. And, we'll get plenty of the the high school kids here in the state of Colorado and across the country. I mean, we've got a good spread out number of scouts here with three-quarter slot, getting both the in-person reports, the plenty of video scouting. We've got some guys feeding us some great information from the statistical standpoints. Again, shout out again, Alex over at Developing Baseball. Some really good stuff all around there. So with that, settle in. His WBC time. We've got a ton of great action coming up. I'm really looking forward to it. Hope you are too. It's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. Let me see here real quick. Yeah, there's a ton of great stuff coming up. And then once we get through the WBC, it is going to be spring breakouts. After that, we've got minor league baseball season kicking off. This week starts college baseball conference play in both the Big Ten and the ACC. We've got the NHSI coming up in April. Just a ton of great stuff. It is full-blown baseball season. With that, we'll go ahead and wrap up here with this episode of the Three Quarter Slot Podcast. Tune in next week.